I think kindergarten is the best year. I just remember getting snacks and taking naps. Outside of your family, how many people know your middle name?
Many, actually, because I have a kind of a peculiar middle name. So if you hear it, you usually don't forget it.
It's Euclid, isn't it?
It is Euclid, yes.
I don't think more than 10 people know my middle name, even including family.
I know it, but I think I've forgotten it. Is it Anthony?
No. Kazmer. It's a Polish name named after my grandfather.
What's my wife's middle name even?
Every girl that I've ever dated or been in a relationship with, I should actually just say every girl I've been in a relationship with, including my wife, has had the middle name Michelle.
Every girl.
Every single one. It's not a lot, but every single girl that I have been in a relationship with has had the middle name Michelle.
Well, and that name almost ended my wife and I's first date before it even got going. So.
Oh, wait, what? Why? Michelle? Did you call your wife the wrong name?
So I was pseudo-dating another girl named Michelle when I went on a date with my wife. And while we were sitting at, dinner, I said, well, Michelle, it's been really nice getting to know you. And I tried playing it off that, I was nervous. And for anyone who knows my wife now, Melissa, that she knew exactly what had happened. But tell you what I did, went home and ended things with Michelle because I knew that my Melissa was going to be a keeper.
Yeah, you can't really date people with similar names. There's just way too much of an opportunity for a mishap. I have also in a previous relationship called the new girlfriend by the old girlfriend's name. Didn't go over well. It was like she almost got in a car accident and I yelled the old girlfriend's name on accident.
So here's something else to make fun of me about. I was outside cutting some branches off of a large tree we have, and I had an axe. And I was feeling very manly about myself.
Yeah. Okay, all right, good.
Well, my neighbor comes over, who I've talked about on this podcast before, God love him, and he brought me a Sawzall because he said it looked like I was struggling.
Oh, you had another man tell you that he thought you were struggling with an axe?
Well, his exact words were, "You've been out here for a while. You must be tired. I have a Sawzall," but he already had the Sawzall already. It wasn't like, "Hey, I have one too, by the way." But it wasn't like, "Hey, do you have one? Do you need one?" He was just like, "Hey, use my Sawzall." He even brought an extension cord to plug it into a power outlet on the side of my house.
Okay, was he being friendly or did he legitimately realize that you were struggling?
First off, I don't think I was struggling. I was sweating. I was panting, but I mean,
what were you trying to do? Let's get the parameters here and decide. Let's find this out. Okay, so you were trying to do what?
Trying to trim a tree, I guess you could say, because
with an axe.
Well, I didn't know where my God damn it, I didn't know where my Sawzall was, and
all right. So look, I'm gonna just keep a strike. I'm gonna keep a tally. Okay, so that's strike one. Man should know where his tools are. So that's strike one.
My wife had made me angry because she had said, "You need
letting
a Sawzall."
Letting a situation get to you. Strike two.
I had a chainsaw, and she told me the branches are too small for a chainsaw. And I was like, I don't think they're that small for a chainsaw. So when we got into a little bit of a spat, I grabbed...
Having somebody else tell you how to operate your tools. Strike three.
Grabbed an axe, and I said, I'm going to go cut this fucking thing down.
Well, wait a minute. Were you going to try to actually cut down the tree, or were you just going to try to swing the axe up above your head and cut the tree?
Well, that's what I was doing when I was.
Well, that's not going to work.
It did work. I got 5 good size, limbs down.
There's a difference between something working and doing something enough that it actually starts to work.
I can tell you though, if you've ever done that, the whole tree shook, and shit was just coming down at me. It wasn't smart.
How many swings of the axe did it take you to cut through each branch?
Oh, I'm gonna say between 20 and 40.
To cut through each branch?
Yeah, they were It's a pretty thick. I'll have to take a picture and post it somewhere so people can look, including yourself.
Is it a giant redwood? Is it General Sherman out there, the biggest tree in the world? Because, okay, 20 swings for that. If you're talking about cutting through a part of a tree that was too small for a chainsaw and it's taking you 40 things with an axe? Dude.
No, okay, hold on.
That's that's 3 strikes right now. You're at 6. That's 3 strikes individually.
That's fine. I don't think anyone cares about this. I just wanted your opinion. It's fine.
Yeah, dude, that's your bad, right? Because to sum up, here's where you're wrong. Number 1, you lost your tools. Not paying attention to where your tools are. Number 2, you weren't using the right tool for the job. Number 3, obviously your neighbor had to step in. Like another man had to see what you were doing and say to himself, oh no, he's embarrassing all of us the way that he's doing this. He's hurting the entire gender. I've got to step in here to make sure that everybody else in this neighborhood doesn't decide to swear off men just because they look at him and say, wait a minute, that guy is doing such a poor job, it's reflecting on me. It's like a really terrible car showing up to a car show, and then everybody else is like, no, that car can't be here because it's bringing everybody else down. That kind of sounds like what you were doing with this lawn work.
Sure. I mean, I was actually enjoying it. It was, if you've ever swung an axe, it's very therapeutic.
It's very manly, right? It does make you feel like a man. I have an axe in my room, actually. Literally have an axe under the bed.
Do you still have the katana in your trunk?
I do. I have a ninja sword that I bought while inebriated that I thought that was going to be a good idea. But I didn't want to have it in a house full of an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, so I put it in the car. So I have a ninja sword in my car.
Wow. Well, anyways.
Could you imagine if somebody, like, there's a road rage situation and somebody's like, come on, let's go. And I go to the back of the car and bring out a ninja sword?
No, I actually, I don't want to say that's a fear of mine. But that's one of the reasons why I have, like, parking lot anxiety is because I don't want to get into, a skirmish with somebody. And next thing I know, they're busting out a fucking sword.
Could you imagine if you're like, hey, buddy, you cut me off. And they turn around, open up their trunk, and bring out a ninja sword.
No, that would be terrifying to me. Because for one, I'm not going to get away from them. They're probably going to run faster than me.
Oh, and yeah, 2, they're going to catch you.
I think that's... Now, once again, I feel like I have to put a disclaimer on this. I've never been shot, stabbed, whatever. But I feel like being stabbed or hit by a sword is probably one of the most scary things that could happen.
If I saw somebody coming at me with a sword and they started to swing the sword at me, I think I would actually die before it even made contact. Like, just the idea of being hit by the sword, like, I would just die mid-swing.
Sure.
They wouldn't even have to hit me. Back to our poll results, though. I asked people how many... Okay, the question was, how many people know your middle name? 35% said 1 to 5 people. 32% said 5 to 10. 16% said 10 to 25. And 16% said 25 plus. So really, there's not that many people who probably know someone's middle name.
I just feel like it's kind of... Like, no one really cares. Like, why do you need to know someone's middle name? You just don't need to know it.
Why would you want to know their thoughts, hopes, and dreams? It's about knowing who somebody really is. A middle name is a part of somebody, and you don't know that part of them.
I'm going to go on a limb here and sound pretty dumb, but I think if you got rid of everyone's middle name, wouldn't matter. No one would care or miss them.
I mean, there's a lot of people probably named John Shull. Like, think about all the people named, like, Josh Smith. You got to kind of have some way of demarcating them.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably only one Nick VinZant, though.
I've never actually seen another one. I've never actually seen another one that had the same name as I did. But anyway, let's move along.
All right, let's give some shout-outs here, shall we? Shout-outs, outs. Someday I'm going to get, like, a good intro to this. It's only been 195 episodes. But let's see, Connor Johnson, Bob Amadon, Anjo Tarkama, Joe Zario, Joseph Ringhand, Naib Shiraz, Johnny Indigo. Don't think that's a real last name, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Sammy Garcia, Tommy Lopez, Ken Smith, Natalie Villando, and Frank Gill. Congratulations. You get nothing except me screwing up your names this week. So thank you.
What an honor. What an honor.
Tito Jackson died. R.I.P.
Who's Tito Jackson?
Jesus Christ, Nick.
I don't know who Tito Jackson is. That's not like a famous name that I'm supposed to know. Is he the father of... Is he Michael Jackson's father? Like, I don't know who Tito Jackson is. I understand that there's a Jackson 5 and that they were very famous. The only one that I know is Michael. I don't know Tito Jackson. It's like that common knowledge that Tito Jackson is... Who is he?
I mean, he's obvious. I mean, where do you want me to start? One of the Jackson 5. He's, obviously... Let's see. Okay, let me see if I can do this. So it's Michael, Jermaine.
Oh, Janet. I know Janet Jackson. Don't go... Like, look, I'm not going all the way down there to get to Tito Jackson.
Okay.
You realize about Tito Jackson. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's a great something. I'm sure a lot of people like the guy, but
you do know that that Tito Jackson or Janet Jackson was not one of the Jackson 5, though, correct?
Right. But she is. Okay. Is she Michael Jackson's younger or older sister? She's got to be his younger sister.
Yes, I believe is the younger sister. You're the only person that I've talked to, and I've talked to at least 10 people about Tito Jackson.
Have you talked to anybody under the age of 50?
2 people who at least knew who he was and what he was involved in. Tito Jackson and the last person we talked about last week dying, which was James Earl Jones, on the same wavelength.
No, they are not.
Tito's not up to James Earl Jones's pedestal, but they're at least in the same realm, I feel.
No. Not at all. Okay. If James Earl Jones is a level 1, Tito Jackson is probably like a 4 or a 5.
Wanted to ask you, what is the best, in your opinion, the best era of clothing? Like decade-wise. So, and I obviously there's plenty of decades that you and I have been a part of, but I broke it down into 3. The 70s, the 90s, or now? Which decade? Really?
Yeah, 100%. I would 100% go with now is the best time of clothing because I can wear pants to work that look exactly like dress pants, but are actually like workout pants. And it's amazing. I can wear stuff to work that is essentially like it looks like it's dress clothing, but it's basically like gym clothes. So now, because of the comfort and because of the ease of everything.
So once again, this has a story. I'm going to a wedding on Saturday, and it is 70s themed.
Oh, let me go ahead and tell you how long that wedding's going to last. If you're doing any kind of themed wedding, the over-under on your relationship is 5 years.
You know what? I'm not going to comment on that. I wish them the best, but
I'll say it. If you're having a themed wedding, that relationship ain't lasting more than 5 years.
No,
because you're getting married around a shared interest at that time of your life, and you change as a person as you get older, and so that theme that you all kind of agreed upon and coalesced around may no longer apply as you get older. You might not be that same person, and that's why I don't think that the theme things work for that kind of stuff.
Good use of the word coalesce, by the way.
I did.
Well done.
I also used another word. I think I used divergent.
Oh.
Aggregate. I've used the word aggregate today. Coalesced.
No one really believes it, though, so it's fine. Or believes you saying it. That's about it. That's all I had this week. Good conversation.
Okay, all right. So our top 5 is top 5 grades. So we're talking about like kindergarten, 3rd grade, 5th grade, those kind of things. What's your number 5?
So I feel like this may be too high on the list, but I also don't know where to put it because it's probably the easiest grade, and that's kindergarten. So that's my number 5.
You have kindergarten as number 5?
I do. Just because it's like it's a lot of people. For a lot of kids. It's their introduction to school. It's fun. You really don't have any real responsibility. but like you're not doing a whole lot. You're just, it's kind of like just a glorified daycare to a certain degree.
My number 5 is second grade. I think second grade is great because you're kind of figuring things out. You're kind of establishing yourself a little bit, but you don't really have any real responsibilities. Like, nobody's really expecting anything from you. You're in second grade. But also, you're in second grade. You can kind of venturing on your own a little bit with no real repercussions for mistakes.
My number 4 is the ninth grade.
Oh, freshman year?
Yeah, because, you're there. You've made it. You're in the show. But, like, you're just in the show. And it's probably going to be a real rough year, even if you're one of the cool kids, while you try to adapt to everything. But it's one of those grades, or maybe the only grade like that, which is the ninth grade, where, like, this is it. Like, after you go, you're in the same building for 4 years. I guess some high schools are 10th grade, but I'm going 9th through 12th. Like, this is it. Once you hit the 12th grade, you're done, man. Life is going to hit you.
I would actually say that I think being a freshman year is one of the worst. I think that's one of the most awkward times of your life.
No, I don't disagree with that. I think it's awkward. But I also think it's exciting. I think high school provides a lot more opportunities than, say, junior high or whatnot. So yeah, it's awkward, it's scary, but it's also exciting. Like you're on your way to being a full-fledged teenager.
My number 4 is middle school. I feel like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade are all kind of the same.
Okay.
There's not much separation, I don't think, there. It's kind of all just waiting to go to high school. You're not in elementary school. To me, like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade all kind of fall into the same realm.
Okay. We'll come back to that. My number 3 is the 12th grade.
That's my number 3 is also senior in high school.
Because, I think a lot of seniors, especially nowadays, and I can't speak for them because obviously I'm not a senior of today's times, but regardless, I just feel like there's so much nerves and angst and, you don't know what's going to happen and you're saying goodbye to your friends and if you go away to college and it's like a very worrisome grade, but also it's like what you've been building 12 years towards.
I wonder how much it's different for people who are seniors in high school now. Because when we were, at least when I was a senior in high school, you were kind of an adult as a senior in high school. It wasn't, I don't think that you're really an adult now as a senior in high school. Like, people don't look at you the same way. But as a senior in high school when I was, you were an adult and you were kind of treated like an adult.
When I was a senior, it was like kind of half and half. You still had the kids that were very immature, then you had the other kids that like already had jobs that, were already smoking and had beards. You know what I mean?
I would not be surprised if someone made an argument that a senior in high school now is equivalent to a college senior, or a senior in high school in our day is now what a college senior is today. Viewed in the same way, that you're kind of starting your life a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but I'll agree with you. What's your number? You said your number 3. That was the 12th grade, right?
Yeah.
So my number 2, and this might be a cop-out, but it's 11th grade.
Oh, I actually really, really thought about putting a junior in high school, too. That would probably be my best year, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like that is most people's best year, is the junior year, because you're an upperclassman, but you don't have all the worries of being a senior yet. For a lot of people who go to traditional high schools, like that's when you play varsity sports for the first time as a junior, or like, if you're in plays and stuff, like that's your first big performance. So yeah, junior's pretty important year.
Okay. I forgot I didn't know about the play angle. Didn't think about that.
You're looking at Buffalo Bill here, so be careful.
Right, like it doesn't, look, I'm not trying to make any light of anybody who's in theater or anything like that. I'm making fun of John being in theater. Like, it's not other people doing theater or drama. It's you specifically doing theater or drama. My number 2 is a junior in college.
Okay.
I think that's a great year because you're probably turning 21. You've got a lot of responsibility. You're starting to kind of get things together, but you don't have the full thing yet. Like you can still, I think that is like peak fun of your life in terms of just going out and enjoying things is a junior in college.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any of the college years on here because I just went in grades instead of like 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. But I don't disagree with you.
What's your number one?
The 6th grade.
6th grade?
Yeah,
Why?
Because you're still a kid. You know what I mean? Like that is the year. I feel like once you get into middle school, like that's when most kids start hitting puberty. Your voice changes. You start growing things. You start being really inquisitive. Like you're still a kid in the 6th grade, and you're innocent and you're dumb and everything's still awesome. Like it's just. And then once you get into middle school and high school, the gloves are off.
Would you agree with this statement? Do you think that kids today are expected to be older when they're younger and younger when they're older? Like we put more responsibility on kids when they're younger and have started to take off responsibility on kids than when they are older. So like what we would expect from a 2nd grader is more, but we expect less from an 18-year-old.
I don't think less from older. I do think by far, with you and I having younger children, that there's so much more expected of them. And I don't mean to sound like a curmudgeonal man, but like the fact that like my kids bring home an iPad every night. I mean, I feel like social media and YouTube and things like that's only led to them like getting older faster. And I know that may not make sense if you don't have children, but if you do, makes complete sense.
My number one is kindergarten. I think kindergarten is the best year. I just remember getting snacks and taking naps.
I mean, yes, it is. That's why it's on both of our top 5 lists.
Yeah, I think it's number one. Do you have anything in your honorable mention?
I mean, not. I mean, I have the 1st grade, but that's really it.
It's kind of like kindergarten.
I did scribble out the 8th grade, but. Because, that's like you're going into high school then. You know what I mean? Like it's... But
see, I transitioned schools when I went into high school. So freshman year for me was not like a great experience. Because I was going to a new school.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother level. That could almost be a whole nother top 5. Like what grades would be the worst grades to transition to a new school to?
Oh, like, freshman year, I would think.
Yeah,
I would say freshman year of high school would be number one.
There's a whole movie about that now. Inside Out 2, or whatever it's called. Inside Out, that franchise.
Oh, yeah, I don't watch that stuff. I'm an adult. I watch intelligent programming like documentaries.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you do.